This is the entertainment roundup for the last week of May, 31st, 2013. I'm J77, and got a couple of stories I want to talk about. Before I do that, however, I want to talk about the Billboard Awards. Yeah, I know it's been a few weeks past, and I'm late to the game, but I had to change my work schedule, and because I got a work schedule now, I can't just post a video right away. I originally wanted to make this as a separate thing, but being that this has been way past, I might as well just give my brief, quick synopsis of my feelings on the award show, my overall feeling. For the target audience this show was going for, I thought it did a pretty decent job. I thought it was okay. Entertainment-wise, it was fine. I liked it, some of the performances that was coming out there, particularly how Prince pretty much closed out the award show in the end. I thought he was definitely the highlight of the show. A lot of people who was over the age of 40 was very happy to see him. The only reason some of these guys was actually watching, including my friends who watched with me, was pretty much because they wanted to see Prince on stage, and they had to watch the whole entire award ceremony to do it. Demographically wise, I think the younger crowd loved this show more than the older ones, and that's fine. I had a feeling that was going to happen. A lot of the people who I was watching felt the music is pretty much trash anyway. There's really no originality. I somewhat agree, but also we got to keep in mind Taylor Swift. She's actually very talented, and she had pretty much came away big in that in the Billboards. She ranked in 7. Let's not forget Macklemore, who surprised a lot of people this year with Thrift Shop. Let's also not forget Adele, who a lot of people, including myself, feel that she is very talented. In her genre, she's very good. I love hearing her perform, and she also hasn't disappointed in terms of quality music entertainment. But we're gonna have that. The award pretty much knew its target audience, and I can respect that. And you know what? It was pretty good. I actually did enjoy it. As for Tracy Morgan, I hadn't had a problem with him hosting the awards. He wasn't pretty much the center of attention. He did his job. Was pretty much funny, but overall he did okay for what they was looking for. He did pretty good. Would I have picked him? Not really, but you know what? I'm not the one making the call, and for what it's worth, it pretty much went out okay. He wasn't someone I actually kept in the back of my head that was going to trash or ruin the show. If I got any negativity truly to the show, I have to say it was pretty much with Justin Bieber, and it's not because of his performance or pretty much his getting his award. It's his acceptance speech, I believe, at the last award that he has gotten, and needless to say, what he have said really did bother me a little bit, especially how it sounded like he was really pretty much trying to say, take that, critics. And I had a problem with it for one reason, and one reason only. His behavior is what's getting him bad press. Not much of his music. You're gonna have people who's not gonna like his stuff. That's just how it is. You're gonna have people who are not fans of his work, and I think that anyone can agree that not everybody likes Justin Bieber. There is a huge people out there that just don't like Justin Bieber. I'm not a big fan of his music because it's just simply not my style of music. I heard him a couple of times, thought he was talented, but the music didn't quite let me want to come back and hear more. Maybe down the road that can change, but until now it's just not my taste. It's just not my style of music. But I'm noticing lately that him being parodied, pretty much making fun of, being criticized as not a real musician, I believe that's starting to get to him where he's actually making some very awkward choices in the last few years, and it's really also starting to turn off his fans. And ironically, it also ties into one of my main topics that I'm going to be talking about in a moment. But needless to say, that's pretty much the only negative I have. His attitude when accepting his last award didn't exactly please me. Overall, highlight as well, Prince. I think if anybody who's a Prince fan or grew up in the 80s pretty much know who he is. Those who are not old enough to know his name or just don't know who he is, got to know him very quickly in that final performance. He tore the house down, and he reminds you why he is Prince. So with that, if I got to give it a rating, I give it an 80%. I think it was very, very good. I thought the performances were great, and for what it's worth, I think it accomplished its job in terms of award quality and entertainment quality. Do I wish there should have been more high variety with the billboards? Yes, I think that was the one thing I noticed, that hip hop and rap seemed to dominate a lot of the awards. But right now, that is the hot potato in entertainment right now, in music entertainment. And unless another Taylor Swift type performer or some future rock and rollers comes up and even balance it out, I think that you're going to see that a lot, not just for the Billboard Awards, but just pretty much the awards in general. So that's pretty much all I got to say about the award show. I'm now going to move on to some topics that are recent, and here they are. I'm going to start with Amanda Bynes. And because I'm going to leave two articles connected to Amanda Bynes here. One article pretty much describing the recent feud she had a few days ago with I believe a Sports Illustrated model, and just overall my own feeling towards what's been going on. Last weekend, it was reported she was arrested in New York for marijuana possession, and this pretty much brought more negative press than I think that even Amanda Bynes was hoping for. She arrived in court, and pictures of her arrived in court pretty much stunned a lot of people, including her fans, including me. She was just a mess, and it really does raise some eyebrows as to what the hell is going on with her, what is going on behind the scenes, because she was never like this. She has really let herself go to the point where she's almost hardly recognizable. If you take a picture of her 10 years ago, in her late teens, even her early 20s, and you take a look at her now, you will swear this is a totally different person. And that's something, and it's not being said in a good way. She has become a complete train wreck. Even some of the magazines have actually compared her as one of the top 5 train wrecks in young Hollywood. That's not something you want to be compared with. Things didn't get any better when she started getting into a feud with a couple of stars, a couple of, a model and another star, who basically is trying to say, hey, get your act together. One was pretty much a supermodel. She pretty much tweeted about her name. Her name is, I believe, Teigen, T-E-I-G-E-N. That's how they pronounce it. She said in her tweet, support people with illness, yes, but do not condone do not condone scary and poor behavior. This sparked a response tweet, and that's largely because of one thing. She basically has mentioned that Amanda Bynes, which I don't know if she does or not, but there has been people has been suggesting that she has been acting kind of odd lately, that suggested that she may mentally not be stable right now. But I'm not going to go throw that out there because there hasn't been any physical evidence or proof from doctors saying that she does. But there has been that thing been thrown around, and this is actually the first time an actual celebrity have even mentioned this, and then and that really was pissed off Amanda Bynes in her response, and the fact that she suggested that Amanda Bynes has a mental illness. And yes, Bynes didn't condone the message and said, you're not a pretty model compared to me. I signed to Ford Modeling at the age of 13. I don't look up to your beauty. Beauty-wise, I'm far prettier than you. She argued, I'm offended that you are saying that I have a mental illness when I show no signs of that, but thankfully not one man that wants me wants you, and you are an old ugly model compared to me. You look 45. This continues. You're not pretty, so I'm not intimidated by you. I think you are jealous that you are just an ugly model whose career is unexpiring. I don't respect you. You're no beauty queen. I'm a beauty queen. And I have to ask myself questions: is what the hell was that all about? Obviously, she was not happy, saying that she has a mental illness. Obviously, this is becoming now, it's finally getting to her. But that tweet was just out of control. I was very, very out of control. The model did a response, says she is not going to continue. She wished the best for her truly, and tenderly begged for her followers not to do the same, pretty much saying not to go bash her. You know how trolls are. Some will listen, but a lot of them won't. But this is not the only person who actually tweeted about this, and it was Courtney Love. Courtney Love pretty much said the same thing. Courtney Love, but in a way of saying, pull yourself together. That's basically what she said. Again, another actress from the EDA said the 48-year-old singer tweets with another ugly insult. Courtney Love is the ugliest woman I have ever seen. This is Bynes now. Bynes wrote, to be mentioned by her is all at all makes me and all my friends laugh. So this is what's going on. And I only have one feeling about this. I really do. I think she's in a shield mode. She's in a self-defense mode. And anyone, even those who are trying to say, "Hey, look, you got to get your act together. You're messing up. You're messing up bad." She didn't want to hear from no one, because to her, everything is fine. Everything is okay. Nothing's wrong. There was even mentioned in the papers that the charges that she was recently has gotten is going to be dropped. Now, whether that's true or not, whether it has been dropped or not, that's really not the point. The point is, you are messing up. There are signs that saying that something's not right with you, and a lot of people who actually are trying to help you, you're lashing out, whether it's through Twitter or through some other message boards, you are lashing out. And even with some of the people who actually respect you as an artist, I'm starting to get turned off by this, including some of your fans. And this is something that I think Amanda Bynes needs to look at. Even her family, if it has to take her mother or father or anyone very closest to her, her closest friends, if they're really all friends at all, to sit down and say, what the hell's wrong with you? Pull yourself together. You're all messing up. You're not all here. If you were to see some of the pictures of her right now, even some of the pictures that was caught by other photographers, it is clear she has just let herself go. She's not. There's a sign that she's really don't care anymore about how her appearance looks, how she conducts herself on the streets. It really does show. And those are signs that something's terrible going on, something's bad's going on, and it needs to be addressed. I have no clue what the parents are going to do. I know they are extremely worried, but you know what? Being extremely worried is one thing. Doing something about it and talking to your daughter and getting to the gist of what's going on is a totally different thing. And it just breaks my heart, because she is one of the stars that has been admired by a lot of people, including parents, that says that, hey, she's one of them that's not caught up in this mess, is not caught up with with all the garbage of Hollywood. She's not one of these wild child that you're going to see on the newspaper today. And now she has become what a lot of people has praised her that she's not. And it really is a disappointment to a lot of fans. Disappointment to even a lot of her admirers, and it really is. What a downward spiral this has become. And yet, there is an article from a former child star who pretty much brought to light and remind should remind a lot of people, especially those who are pushing their children to the lifestyle of entertainment, whether it's music or movies, etc. To understand something that you may think this is this is great and glamorous, where fortune is almost immediate, but there's a price to be paid for this. Not everything is fun and games. This business, the entertainment business, is a very cold business, and thankfully, one former child star, knows that, and that's Marla Wilson. Now, those who don't remember Marla Wilson, those who hasn't followed her during the 90s, Marla Wilson was one of the popular child stars. Her famous roles is Matilda, Miracle on 34th Street, A Simple Witch, and even Mrs. Doubtfire. She recently have left Hollywood. I can't say recently, but she have left Hollywood, went to college, and pretty much continued doing her acting career, but more on a small base, like plays and stuff. She was also last year was in a very special episode of The Nostalgia Critic. She was actually even interviewed by Doug Walker himself, and she wrote a very, very powerful article that pretty much describes the lifestyle that happens when these children put themselves into. She described a lot of the stuff that can go on if the parents do not lay down the law and say, hey, listen, this is Hollywood. I'm glad you're working on this, but understand you're still my child, and I still lay down the rules. Not your agent, not the studios, but me. Or B, when the parents simply don't care because they're so blinded by the fame and the fortune that they forget to raise their child and allow Hollywood to raise their child, to the point where by the time they realize what has happened, what's going on, it's already too late. The powers that be outside of their control have already taken over. And she had made a list. I believe she made 7 of those lists. And I'm going to read it to you what she had wrote down, and I will also leave a link to this as well as the Amanda Vine article, so you guys can read yourself and give your own input on this matter. The list starts out as number 7. Their parents won't help them. Mariah Pence, I choose to start acting when I was 5. It was my decision, and my parents tried their hardest to discourage me. When I insisted, they allowed me to act, but they were always very protective of me. I saw many child actors who did not have that, and they were all miserable. That is a very key word. Again, the parents was wise enough to realize that this is not a very smart business. This is a very hard business. They did try to encourage her, which is something that's very rare, especially for those who really don't know the business, to actually encourage their child, say, hey, look, I don't feel comfortable about this. Maybe you should just wait. I also hear stories from even professional actors and actresses who kids wanted to join the business, but actually told them hell no, and explained that, hey, this business is cold. They will eat you up and spit you out once they're done, and you can be even worse off than what it is. And some of their children listen. They say, hey, look, I'm not gonna get involved in that. Some don't, and they learned the hard way how brutal this business can actually be. It's not all child actors turn out bad. Let's get that clear. But they understand that, hey, this is hard work, and hey, there's a lot of sacrifices that go into that. Number 6, it says their parents can't help them. And she wrote down in this one said, a former child star explained, but Miley Cyrus went through the series of scandals in 2010, and one involving a scarier than pot but somehow more legal saliva. Billy Cyrus went on record saying that he has very little control over his daughter anymore. Disney encouraged had no longer since taken over. Even if he wasn't telling the complete truth about his role in his daughter's scandal, it was clear that the parents, was not in control. Do you understand how deep that is? And again, and then by the way, on the record, this something is not illegal in Los Angeles, and she was 18 at the time. But once they become that age, And once they want to break free from that, especially from an image that was given by another organization, so say like with Disney was is notorious of keeping their child-friendly image child-friendly. Once they become that particular age, they said, "To hell with that! I want to be my own thing." This is Miley Cyrus wasn't the only one. Haley Mills had gone through that. A lot of actors who came from the Disney have gone through that, and the result sometimes can be devastating. The result can sometimes be a blessing. It all really depends on the person as well as what roles they take right after that. But that's the whole thing. Once they become established, once they got a little bit of power, they don't want to hear from nobody. They don't want to hear from their own family. They don't want to hear from even from the studios. They're going to do whatever they want to do, and if you don't like it, just get out their way. So in many ways, I can definitely understand what Billy Ray Cyrus is saying. It is very difficult, especially in that situation. Even when they want to help their children, sometimes they're just so hard, or just so much determined what they're independent that they turn their parents out to what they're trying to tell them. So, like I said, it's the business is cold, man. The business is very, very cold. Number 5, they get used to the love and attention, then lose it. Very true. Marla writes, adults know the influctuation is fleeting, but kids don't understand this. Let me read this again. Marla wrote, adults know the infatuation is fleeting, but the kids don't understand this. A year in a kid's life seems like an eternity, and they think anything happening now will happen forever. In other words, they think everything, they're famous, they're loved, they got millions of fans, but as they get older, those fans start to dwindle or move to the next big thing, leaving them either with pretty much almost nothing, and even more harder to get roles. A lot of child actors who were big back in the time had a lot of fans. So once the fame was over, they find it impossible to find other roles. This is why a lot of child stars, you notice, are not staying with those kiddie roles that they are used to. A lot of the child stars are playing very serious roles. Chloe Grace Moretz have done it. Dakota Fanning have done it at a very young age. My sister Ellen Fanning has been doing it. So a lot of these actors that you have and actresses have you seen, they pretty much have a better chance of jumping through a more serious role than a person who constantly played the goody two shoes all the time. They find out once they get that adult role, they find it more difficult to make that transaction because A, the fans are not following them and watching their movies, and B, pretty much nobody really cares for that anymore. Nobody cares for that particular star anymore, and it becomes very hard for that star to accept it. They have been sexually exploited. This is definitely true, and this is still going on today in Hollywood. To be a teen idol is to be valuable. Brooke Shields has said that being a sex object led her to feel like she wasn't in control of her own body, and is one of the reasons she didn't have sex until she was 22. Very, very true. Very, very true indeed. And those who know Brooke Shields' movies in the 70s and early 80s, you can pretty much tell that she was pretty much used as a sex object, especially at her age. I mean, I believe she was 12 when controversy sparked around her, especially from that movie Pretty Baby. It's a very controversial film. It got me scratching my head as how that film was actually ever made the way it was. But that's a topic for another day. They need to be a rebel but can't. This is number, I think I skipped one. No, this is number 3. Marla explains, having to live up to your fans' base is a little like having to deal with a million strict parents who don't actually love you. They reward you when you are cute for your cuteness and cleverness, but they're quick to judge and punish, and they do not want you to ever grow up. How do you react? The way any scold teenager does. You get resentful, and as soon as you have the freedom to act out. Oh, that is so true. And this is why I go back to Justin Bieber. I want to stress this right now before I continue. I don't hate Justin Bieber. I got a lot of respect for the guy. I just don't care for his music. When my niece showed me who Justin Bieber was, because I never heard of him until she said something about it. Saw his videos. I said, "Oh, okay, he's a teen idol. That's all I can see from him." Heard one of his music. I don't know which one it was. I know it was a video. It was in a bowling alley for some reason, and they started dancing with this girl. And next thing you know, it was this song, and I just said, "Okay, well, he's okay. He definitely can sing, but just not my style of music." My niece often poked fun at me, said, "I'm gonna be the only adult out there cheering for Justin Bieber." I know she was actually joking, but she did like his music. She did like what he was putting out there. It's just not my style. So I have no reason to listen to him. But there are other people who just can't stand the guy, and I think it's something just about the way he was. He was just this goody two shoe guy who people just seem to not dig, especially from him. But lately, it's gotten to the point where a lot of people are basically getting on him a lot more than what he should. And I think now, more than ever, especially since some of the comments he had made lately, especially that award, it's finally getting to him, and he's finally acting out. He's showing, I can be a bad boy, I can do this, and societally, it's not exactly working well as it seems. He's being put in the press a lot, especially recently. If something happened in his home, and to me, it doesn't show me respect. It's just a big turnoff, and even his fan base is turned off by this. And I think he needs to just chill out and just make good music. I think for the most part, just make good music. Who cares what these people will think? I think this is the thing that I really find very interesting about, especially for parents who feels they are obligated to keep a certain star the way they are. Britney Spears had the worst of it, and because the moment she had a chance, she changed her image, and people didn't like it. And the first thing I said to a lot of these guys, because they was making a lot of fuss, and she says, "It's not inappropriate for my child." Well, I got news for you. She's not targeting your child's audience. She's not targeting that particular audience. She is targeting a specific audience, and that's it. And that was the main thing. Parents didn't seem quite get it, but after a while, I think they finally get it after she had her children, as she got married, and after she started making more songs that pretty much targeted the older demographic. But it wasn't easy. Many people continue saying she was a bad influence on our kids, and the first thing I said is, if you haven't looked at her last few videos, she's not targeting that particular audience. She's not targeting kids anymore. And this is a perfect example of sometimes the fan base can actually hurt the star more than actually serve its purpose, especially with youth actors who have to deal with this, because every time when they do something, they're always on the microscope. You shouldn't do this, and they're very quick to put them on the microscope, even though they're not even watching their own kids when it comes to the same stuff that some of these teen stars does. So this is something I definitely can understand. Number two, they don't know what else to do. She says, if I were to talk to Lindsay Lohan, I encourage her to get the hell out of acting and into something soothing. Taking up beauty, taking up something. I don't know what she was saying. Botane or something. But she wouldn't be likely to listen to me, and not only because I am younger and way less hot than her. It's because she's been acting all her life and has little education, and in her mind there's nothing else she could do. Now, I don't know about the education part. I don't know if she's ever attended college, but it is a very interesting statement nonetheless about some of the stars. There's a lot of the stars out there, and not just movie stars, but singers, athletes. They've done it so long that for them to do something else, It's not as easy as one may think. Especially if they don't have the educational tools to do it, if don't have the educational background to fall back on. If they haven't ever took any kind of courses in accounting or lawyers or anything that will give them a nest egg in case their major goals fall back on, they may find themselves stuck, and that's something that I can actually see Lindsay Lohan being in a predicament in. Is stuck. Granted, most of the stuff that has happened to her in the last few years is all her fault. I'm not gonna sit there and sugarcoat it. A lot of stuff that she could have avoided, she just kept going at it the same way with different excuses, but never made any attempt to change. Do you want to blame Hollywood? Yeah, I can simply say that Hollywood have to have something to do with it, but it has mostly to do with herself, the people she hangs out with, the poor decisions she's making and continue to make. But in terms of her actually quitting Hollywood or acting in any kind, I don't see that because, I don't think she can, because that's all she has. That's all she pretty much has left. For her to do something else, I don't think that can register well with her. Who knows? She may actually surprise me and actually do something that is not Hollywood related down the road. But for now, I just don't see it. As for the education part, I don't know about that. I don't see her as a dumb person who's not educated. I see her as a bright person who just need to get her act together. But it does raise the question of, can she actually do something outside of acting? And the number one thing she had mentioned in this list is they can't escape it. She concluded, it's consistent demand. If you do, demand. If you do not situation. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Alright, let me read this again. It is a consistent damn if you do, damn if you do not situation. If former child star acts brings up their past, they wish they washed up an opportunity shedding for attention. If they never do, they are clearly in denial. It seems like this former star got it right, and she's right. The report said that she's right. Barbara Wilson has got it right because everything she has said is clear textbook of what a lot of the child stars who don't have it up here in their heads, who are not well educated, whose parents are not on them and making sure that the outside party, the vultures, and these people who claim they're supposed to be on their side, but but in reality, are just using them to make a buck, get to them. A lot of these child stars fall in that category, and some of them don't return. A lot of them do not return, and I'm glad Marla Wilson actually spoken out on it and wrote this article because it really shares a lot of stuff. And I urge, especially those who want to have their kids go to Hollywood, to read it. It needs to be read to understand that Hollywood is not for children. A lot of former child stars spoken out against this. It's not for kids. This business is a cold, brutal business that is not child friendly. It's just not. I'll leave that article as well as the Amanda Bond article. I'll let you guys go for it for yourselves. And I'm moving right along to Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. This has been pretty much an off again, on again thing. I'm not going to spend too much time on this article because God knows this may be true. Next thing you know, oh no, that's not true, they're back together. I don't know if they're back together or not, and to be frankly honest with you, from what I read on here, I think it would be best that they just stay apart from each other just for a while. If anything else, to find out where their true feelings lie in this. Because from what I'm getting here, and what I'm getting in the last couple articles that I read, because I did tap tabs on this for a while, because it has been something that had bothered me when I first heard about it. It sounded like to me a lot of influence had played a part into their relationship that should have not played into it. A lot of people have been poking their nose where they don't belong. Especially from what I'm hearing in these reports. Now this has been done by US Weekly. It says here, and I'm going to read the first sentence here. It looks like Liam Hemsworth's brothers got their wish. A few weeks ago, after Chris and Luke Hemsworth staged an intervention, their younger brother siblings to voice their concerns about his engagement to fiancée Miley Cyrus. The Hunger Game actor has called it quits with the former Disney star. Multiple sources revealed in a new issue of U.S. Weekly. Question is, what is this intervention about, and why are they so keen in making sure these two do not be together? Is it something that you're telling me about Miley Cyrus that no one seems to know about? That's the thing that really bothered me. And if so, how come Liam Hemsworth can't deal with this face to face with Miley Cyrus? But I'll get to that in a minute. They are definitely over, one inside tells us, of the ex-lovers who met on the stage of the last song in 2009. They got engaged in 2012 of June. Hemsworth, 23, proposed with a 3.5 carat diamond ring, which Miley Cyrus, 20, has worn on and off ever since. The story continues saying that the split comes after months of back and forth between the two, including a recent public display of affection at a party at the Can't Be Tamed singer's LA home. Prior to that, the couple have nearly 4 years to took some time apart and put their wedding plans on hold while Hemsworth regrouped in a native Australia. It says here, that's pretty much it. There were also other links to other stuff, but I'm not going to get into that. Here's my problem with this. I'm just going to go back to what I read a few weeks before this article. There was an article that explained that Liam Hemsworth was not very happy with Miley Cyrus partying. I find that very strange, especially after just a few days before that article. Miley Cyrus was very happy, very full of energy. She was talking nothing but high praises for her fiancé, both in magazine articles and in video shoots that was live tape. And everything seems fine. Everything seems to be going smoothly. And then I believe after the Academy Awards, things changed. There was a lot of stories coming about Liam Hemsworth hitting on Emma Watson, the former child star who played Hermione Granger in Harry Potter. There was reports coming out like that. There was reports of him pretty much flirting with other women. And then that's when the story talked about the breakup. Then I heard this story about Liam Hemsworth pretty much putting most of the blame on Miley Cyrus, saying that he was tired of her partying, tired of her, basically doing all this crazy stuff that he mentioned. And all I'm hearing is, and I'm like, wait a minute, how come you're all going to be you was her fiance? Sorry, you was her fiance. Why haven't you not talked about this with her? One of the main things about a marriage, about any relationship in general, is communication. You mean to tell me if you were tired about seeing this, which I don't buy at all. I honestly don't. I just think that was just a cop-out excuse, in my opinion. If this was the case and you was tired about her all-night partying, which surprisingly the media never really said that she was an all-night partier, maybe I wasn't paying attention to it, but if you was upset about this, how going out at night partying and having fun and being with the girls or whatever, don't you think it would have been wise just to sit down with Miley Cyrus and talk about it and express how you feel? Was that difficult? And not just that, from some of the articles, they make it feel like that Miley Cyrus was harder to handle than one may actually think. And I think, well, wait a minute. She never once said anything about what you have done. And the fact is, you haven't really addressed, and it still hasn't been addressed, that about the rumors about you actually flirting with Emma Watson or any other girls that matter in that award ceremony. So it's almost like he actually shed all the responsibility towards her, and that really pissed me off a little bit, because I was like, wait a minute, nobody mentioned anything about Miley Cyrus. We want to talk about you because you was the one that pretty much said that you was the one that's being unfaithful. But yet, for a lot of reasons, including some of the press, they seem to be focusing more on Miley's side than his, and I'm kind of wondering what the hell is going on? Why is she's really getting the blunt of all this? And why is the brothers involved in this? Why are they the ones pretty much going into his ear? And that's the thing that really scares me. When you have family members, especially if they don't like a particular person, dictating who that person should be with, it becomes it's no longer about what he feels, about what the family feels. And if he's gonna be easily manipulated by a third party in that, then maybe he really wasn't ready to begin with. That's just my take on that. So I just don't know. This is becoming a circus, and it shouldn't be becoming a circus, and it's really starting to take its toll, not only on just Miley Cyrus, but Hemsworth as well. Both of them are feeling the heat, and with new projects coming on, that's the last thing they want, because to be honest with you, it can actually become more of a stain, especially towards their careers, than what it needs to be. And I think they need to nip it in the bud. If this is just rumors, and who knows if this is just rumors, and they're still together, they need to make a public appearance. They need to come on camera and say, look, this is what's going on. We got some problem, we're having difficulties, but we're still engaged. Let it be. Or just basically announce together saying it's over. That's it. It's done. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I will leave a link below. Let you guys comment on it, and I'm going to move on. I'll say one more thing about this. If Liam Hemsworth, I'm just going to say it right here, and also to Miley Cyrus, if communications is going to be the main problem, then maybe you should really rethink about your engagement and actually sit down with an actual marriage counselor and basically go through the nicks and knacks of what it really takes to be a husband and wife, because that's the one thing you definitely need. You cannot have a marriage if you don't know how to communicate. It's just impossible. That's just my take on it. A marriage cannot work without the communication there to make it work. And that's what I'm going to say with that. One more story. I saved this one for last for a reason, because it's something that I have watched explode on many blogs and on YouTube, and not in a good way, and that is the Xbox One. The stuff that I've seen, the stuff that I've read, the videos that I have watched, kind of make me happy. I never owned an Xbox in my lifetime. And that's not largely because of the Xbox One or Xbox 360. It was the original Xbox One. My sister had it. She had played it, and it burned out on her. It burned out very, very quick because it was so powerful. It's just pretty much fried itself out. And it made me feel like, yeah, I'm not buying an Xbox. I'll stick with PlayStation. Xbox 360, a lot of my family members has it. They enjoy it. I can see why. It's actually good. Don't particularly care for the controller too much. I think it does too much stuff for my fingers to handle, but it's okay. It's fun. I actually thought they did a good job, and I thought they dominated pretty much in terms of better quality than PlayStation did. But that may not be for long if the way they've been acting. I'm not going to go what the article says, because I think everybody knows what the deal is between the Xbox. They want to be the master entertainment system. They want to be pretty much have everything into their one little box. And it's fine for if you wanted to be that way, but when you start compromising the primary focus of your system, which is the games, gamers are not going to be too happy about it. And man, that convention shows that. That convention was a disaster. There's no other way to put it. When I saw videos about this, and I saw it myself, the presentation, when I actually clicked on that presentation and I watched that presentation, I said, what the hell does this have to do with gaming? A lot of people said, what the hell has to do with gaming? It had everything else but gaming, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people was mad about. Also, the fact is, and this is something that's no surprise, Xbox is trying to control the way you do gaming, and I don't think people want to deal with that. A lot of people feel, as well as I do, if I pay for something, that should be the end of it. Not pay for something and then pay a fee for my friend to play if I want him to borrow my game, because you decided to now eliminate used gaming. which makes it even more frustrating. They're not making a lot of people very happy. They're not making gamers happy. They're making game developers happy. They're not making retail stores happy. So there's a lot of stuff going on. First off, I might as well just tell you this. From what I understand, this system, you can no longer give your friend a game. And the reason is they're pretty much doing the same way as a PC, where once you download that game, it's in your hard drive, and it cannot be shared. There was a lot of rumors going on about a fee. If they ever do try to attempt to play that game, they have to pay a fee just to play that game, which makes absolutely no sense. And from what I understand, about a few days ago, the executive of Microsoft actually said that wasn't true, but they haven't confirmed about the used gaming situation. And why I say that is because once the game is downloaded into the system, it's in the game, which makes it pretty much unresellable once that happens. Now they said that there is going to be that the retailer is going to give a special machine somehow to bring it back to the default setting that the game was, but how much money that machine is going to cost is ridiculous, and that pretty much why would a retailer waste their time? This is pretty much about control. This is pretty much about making as much money as possibly can. Because again, a lot of even professional gamers and reviewers have mentioned this. The fact that they're trying to go around the situation that they want to eliminate used games because they don't really seek the profit over it, is pretty much evidence. And I said this before, and I say it again. And PlayStation, in many ways, have learned this the hard way. When you mess with retailers' profits, they have ways to rebel against a certain product. PlayStation, PSP Go, I'll put it that way. PSP Go, when I saw the advertisements for this, I knew it was destined to fail, and it didn't disappoint. The moment this thing came out, I walked to the store. I was looking for a PSP, which I actually wanted to buy. I looked up. I asked about the Go. And the retailer said, and I quote, "Don't buy it, it's not worth your money, go get a regular PSP." I looked at the guy and I smiled. I pretty much knew why he said this. I bought my PSP and I kept it moving. Now, why he said this is very simple. You know what a PSP Go, those who had PSP Go's know the drill. You have to get your games online. The game eliminates the third party. You have a Wi-Fi connection, you can get your games downloaded online, and the game is there. And the question is, where is the cartridge? There is none. There's no disc. There's nothing. Which means that the retailers can't sell that game because there is no game to sell. And a lot of retailers had rebelled against it. Yeah, they had it on shelves. I mean, they did sell the units, but they didn't encourage you to buy it. And the reason why is because they couldn't sell any games for it, and they was not going to do that. They felt threatened just by that portable game, and they made it be known they felt threatened because a lot of people who came in there, they basically told them you best be better off getting the PSP, not the PSP Go. As you can see, that didn't last too long, especially for those who actually returned their PSP. There was a lot of returns for PSP Go during that time, but this is the situation that the game industry is now seeing, especially with retailers, and this is more important for the retail stores because the retail stores, most of their money is made over used games and new games. They're not made over consoles. So if they don't make their bread over games, they have a risk of closing down. They know that. So hearing what Microsoft was planning to do didn't really vote well for those guys because they make a vast amount of money on used games. When someone brings a used game in, they can resell it at wholesale at the price and rake pretty much a large amount of the profits. Where if the new game, they don't get that, and that's the thing. That's the whole thing towards that. And Xbox knows what the deal is, and they want to pretty much say, if I'm not cashing in on this, then I don't want them to cash in on it, and that's becoming very huge problems. Now, Microsoft is not happy with the press they've been getting, of course. They're very upset. They're blaming the media, which honestly, the media didn't have to do anything. Xbox did it all themselves. The rumors of the fees, the fact that that it eliminates video game sharing, the fact that they also eliminate new games, pretty much sparked anger that I have never seen in the gaming world. And the funny thing about it is, it's not even about them having games. It's not even about whether or not they can play games good. Because really, if you look at that presentation, there was no games to begin with. There was no games to be had. They didn't say any games. Now they said there's going to be games in the other presentation. But the point is, if you didn't have the games for this presentation, why have this presentation? It made absolutely no sense to have that type of presentation. So I can hear Steven Spielberg working on a video game television series to see the price is right. Who cares? This is a game system you're trying to promote. Promote the game system and with the games. And that was the thing I really didn't understand what the hell they was doing. And this is the thing where I think that not only just with Xbox, but a lot of companies are doing. They're trying to be everything, and they're trying to put everything into one system. And really, I just give me a game system. That's all I care about. This is going to be a $400 system, but it really don't mean nothing to me if the games are not in good quality. I just want to play my games. And unfortunately, what I got in that presentation was anything but that. I felt that honestly, they really messed up. They really dropped the ball, and they really was talking to everybody else but gamers, and that is something you never do, especially when you're trying to sell a game console. You want to talk to the gamers. You want to give them a reason to buy their console, and that one presentation gave them absolutely no reason whatsoever to own an Xbox One. If anything, it gives them plenty of reasons not to go to PlayStation 4 because of what they're trying to do. Now, a lot of people say they can change. It's not too late for that. I hope they do, because God knows they cannot. The last thing they want to do is start on a negative note. They need to really start making changes. Most important, they need to start communicating with their fan base. A lot of people, someone said, an executive said that the fans don't know what's going on. They're making too many complaints, and that may be true, but except for one thing, their complaints are warranted because you didn't show them anything. You didn't show them anything. No games, no reason to accept this counsel. If anything, you basically put your foot in your mouth and said, we're going to take away this and that, and expect the fans to be okay with that. No, it's not okay. And I hope they realize that. And it's about time that the gamers start rising up against a lot of these companies, especially the gaming developers, the big ones, because lately they've been doing some really stupid, unethical stuff with their companies, and this largely goes into the fact that I buy a game, but I gotta pay an extra fee just to play my game, because I have to play online. And this is something why I really do not like online gaming like that. If there's one thing where I got the option where I can play my games without being online, but if I gotta go online to play, and then I gotta pay a monthly fee, I'm not with that, because now you're putting me in the mercy of a server, which time and time again does happen. That doesn't work. It happened with SimCity. It happened with Star Trek, and to me that's unacceptable in my opinion. Especially when somebody paid their good hard-earned money to play a game. It's unacceptable, and it tells me just how much control they actually do want. But again, this is some of the stuff that I think the gamers need to talk about. Gamers need to bring to their attention constantly, especially if you're asking them to shell out $60 to $70 for a game. You better make sure it's worth from the $60 to $70 that person have actually have fork over. Because if it's not, yeah, you better believe they're gonna have their say on that. PlayStation, I know they're happy because they're like, yeah, we did the right thing. We played our cards out, and then they didn't do theirs. So again, it's still early, it's still young. Hopefully they can change it. But for me, yeah, they dropped the ball badly. Well, that's it for Entertainment Roundup. Nice, good hour-long one. Again, as always, I'll leave the links to the articles for you guys to check out. And as always, if you guys have any feedback, or you agree or disagree on not only just what I said, but the articles you've read, please let me know in the comment sections. Until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I talk to you soon.